Hi, my name is Ben Freed. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about posture for the banjo while playing the 5-string bluegrass banjo. Now, you want to get the banjo at about a 45-degree angle here, not too far down, then it's hard to reach the frets and the neck, and not too far up. So about 45 degrees, and you want to get the banjo sitting on your lap between the thighs. Okay, you don't want it off to the side, you don't want it off to this side. You want it right between your thighs while you're sitting. Some people like to have the strap on while they play. I find that it's very useful to have the strap on while you play so that it prevents the banjo from slipping down, because without the strap the banjo eventually will slide down like that. So most people like to have the strap on while they play. I like to have the strap on one shoulder. Many people have a little bit longer straps and they keep it around both shoulders. That's really up to you. If you look at pictures of banjo players, you'll see that many of them keep it around one shoulder. That's the way I prefer it. So that when you stand up, the banjo is still at the same height that it was while you were sitting down. That's the kind of strap you should have. And make sure that it's holding on pretty tightly so that the banjo doesn't fall. Anyway, you want the banjo at a 45-degree angle. Now, we have also the banjo not sliding forward like this on an angle this way, but the face of the head of the banjo has to be somewhat close to perpendicular to the plane of the floor. So again, not sliding forward like that, because then it's hard to reach around. So you want the banjo perpendicular, the head of the banjo perpendicular to the floor. Now, the posture of the right and the left hands, that has a lot to do with the angle of your elbows, if you notice. If you're out too far, then you're not going to be able to reach the frets on the left hand. And if you're too far forward like this, you're going to have an unusual angle of your wrist. So let's talk about the right arm first. Now, many people will have a concave bend to the wrist, concave forward, out like this, as opposed to a convexity of this angle here. So you want to get that elbow down so that you can have a bit of a convexity of your wrist here. And a lot of people like to have at least the ring finger anchored on the head of the banjo right about here. Can you see that? We're anchoring the ring finger right about here, and that's about an inch from the bridge and about a half an inch away from the first string. And many people like to anchor both the middle finger and the ring finger down on the head. Some people anchor only the pinky down on the head. So, as I said, some people like to have the ring finger and the pinky down on the head, both fingers. I keep both fingers down. Some people like only to anchor the pinky down on the head and let the rest of the fingers float. I suggest, if you're starting from scratch, to keep the ring finger down on the head about 1 inch from the bridge. And you'll be picking the strings with your 3 fingers with the 2 metal finger picks on your first and second finger and a plastic thumb pick on your thumb. And you're going to be picking while your fingers are resting on the head with a bit of an angle to your wrist here. You're going to be picking the strings about 1.5 inches from the bridge, or about maybe 2 inches from the bridge. And you don't want your hand, you don't want your wrist too far down like this. You don't want your forearm too far down, because then you'll be picking on an angle like this. You want to be picking in a straight line. You want the fingers pretty lined up on a straight line, with that line being an imaginary line perpendicular to the line of the strings. So you want to be picking at about 2 inches from the bridge. Now the left hand, you want to have a convexity of that wrist on the left hand also, not a concave angle, but a convex, so that you can reach around and move your fingers around to the frets. So that has a lot to do with this elbow angle. So you want the fingers of the left hand to be rounded, not 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 a funny angle like this, but more of a rounded, arched kind of a position here. And that's accomplished by keeping your elbow somewhat forward towards the audience and keeping a positive convex angle of this wrist so that you can use your fingertips to fret right before the fret. Here's a neat little exercise. So I'm just playing open, first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret. And on the right hand I'm just using my thumb and my index finger. The point being that you want your fingers of the left hand to stay down. Instead of, you don't want to do this. You don't want to lift them up, you want to keep them down. That's a good exercise. Again, keep a forward convex arch to your wrist on the right and the left hand. See you on my website, banjoben.com. Thank you.